Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're jumping right into a full explainer of our source material. Chapter 3, Wisdom Paves the Way. It's a seriously brilliant piece of literature, and it completely challenges how we think about what we know versus how we actually use what we know.
To make sure we cover everything, here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, knowledge versus wisdom. Then, the road to Ujjain, seeking an audience, examining the tracks, and finally, the merchant's lost camel. Let's get into it.
Starting off with Section 1, Knowledge versus Wisdom, a crucial distinction.
Before we actually jump into the narrative, we really need to nail down our terms here. So, what's the difference? Well, knowledge is simply learning facts and information. It's basically the straightforward accumulation of data in your brain. Wisdom, on the other hand, is about taking that knowledge and using it with good judgment. Think of it as the practical, real-world application of all those facts.
Let's make this a bit interactive for a second. As you look at these 6 situations from the text, try to mentally categorize them. Does Ria's understanding of plant care or Karuna's computer programming expertise represent factual knowledge? What about Mr. Kumar valuing his family time over pure wealth? Or Ramesh choosing to forgive a friend for a misunderstanding? As you read through these, you can kind of see how some lean heavily on just acquiring facts, while others, like forgiveness, are purely the wise application of human judgment.
And this scene right here perfectly illustrates that whole concept. We see monkeys on a damaged roof, villagers looking up, and broken tiles scattered all over the place. Now, to deduce what actually happened, you have to use your knowledge of monkeys and gravity, right? But you also have to use your wisdom to piece together the actual story, which actually leads us perfectly into our main narrative.
Moving on to Section 2, The Road to Ujjain, setting the scene.
So, looking at our cast of characters, the story centers around 4 young men: Ram. Shiv. Hard. and Dev. The setting drops us right onto this sweltering, dusty road leading to the city of Ujjain, right at midday. Now later on, we're going to see the King's Court, which is this place adorned with rich tapestries and tall pillars, but for right now, we are out in the hot dust. Notice the visual context of their journey here. You can literally see how travel-worn these 4 friends are. The dialogue tells us they've been traveling for 10 long days, but look at their posture. Their eyes are totally fixed on those distant temples and the noise of the bustling city that's just faintly reaching them. And honestly, despite their pure exhaustion, they remain resolute. That's a great vocabulary word from the text, meaning they are stubbornly determined to reach their goal. They aren't just aimlessly wandering, they are on a mission.
Which brings us to Section 3, Seeking an Audience. The men devise a plan.
Here they are, pausing on the road, looking thoughtful as they wipe the sweat from their brows. Now, Dev points out that 10 days is a pretty short span, and they might have a lot more roads to wander before finding befitting employment. But Ramdat, he remains highly confident. He truly believes that if they can just secure an audience, the young king of Ujjain will instantly recognize their talents and appoint them to his service. The harsh reality, however, is that the prospect of finding work currently eludes them, meaning it remains frustratingly difficult to obtain despite this incredibly long, arduous journey they've made from their home village. Recognizing that casually strolling into a royal audience is no simple task, Hard thoughtfully suggests they must devise or carefully think up a strategy. Dev agrees, saying they should deliberate once they get a bit closer to the city gates. So you can see they are clear planners and really deep thinkers. But they are about to get interrupted.
Section 4, Examining the Tracks. A Peculiar Discovery.
As they're walking, Shiv suddenly points out some fresh camel tracks. And as the men stop to examine the details, every single one of them discovers something uniquely strange about the beast that just passed by. They decide to rest beneath a large tree to share what they found, but before they can even sit down, this anxious, panting merchant comes just sprinting towards them in an absolute panic. But let's rewind just a second to focus on exactly how they looked at those tracks. Instead of just casually glancing at the dirt, the friends scrutinized them. They look incredibly carefully at every single detail, exchanging these silent glances that totally hint at their razor-sharp observational skills.
So their quiet study is interrupted by this frantic man. And judging by his distressed countenance or worried facial expression, Ram accurately deduces, even before the guy opens his mouth, that he has lost something highly valuable.
most likely the very camel whose tracks they were just scrutinizing.
And that leads us to Section 5, the merchant's lost camel, an astonishing interrogation.
So, the interrogation begins. First, Ramdat calmly asks, "Is your camel lame in one leg by any chance?" And the surprised merchant enthusiastically agrees. Yes, it is.
Without missing a single beat, Shivdat follows up, asking, "Is it blind in the right eye?" The merchant confirms again, precisely the right one.
Then Hardot astonishingly asks, "And does it have a short tail?" At this point, the merchant is just floored. He tells them they've described it perfectly, painting this completely accurate picture of his missing animal. Finally, Devdat hits him with the most incredibly specific question yet. "Tell me, sir, has it not been suffering from a pain in the stomach?" The merchant is absolutely bewildered. He confirms the poor creature has been unwell for 2 weeks, and he is now completely convinced that these 4 men must be healers who can cure his beast. So the merchant eagerly offers to pay their fee and practically begs them to tell him where his camel is. But instead of helping, the men just walk away. Ramdat bluntly replies, "We regret to inform you that we do not know where it is." And they literally just leave him standing there in the dust. It's wild. This shocking twist leaves us pondering the very core of this chapter, going all the way back to our very first slide. Think about it. The 4 men perfectly deduced the camel's condition from mere tracks. They undeniably had the factual knowledge to read the dirt. But to withhold that reasoning, to list off these terrifyingly accurate symptoms, only to tell a distressed man, "We don't know where it is," and just walk away? Did these young men demonstrate incredible factual knowledge or true applied wisdom? How would you judge their actions? It's such a brilliant setup, and it absolutely leaves you wanting to dive right into the next scene to see what happens when they finally reach the king's court.